Hello there, welcome along to Bangkok ChitChat, and today I'm with...
Okay. As much as it improves your looks, you can take the mask off. I know we're trying to make a point here, but
I thought it was very topical. Oh dear me, glasses steamed up there for a moment. Anyway, welcome along to Bangkok ChitChat. Coming up in the show today, we got some of at last we got some viewers' comments.
Yeah, that's great.
Which is what we're all about. Yeah, and one of them's not so good, but I'm going to read that out anyway.
Okay.
Also, we've got a new segment called Bangkok ChitChat Clip Pix, which, well, we'll let you wait and show them to you, and you'll know what it's all about. And we are talking pollution, which is the word that's on everybody's lips at the moment. And you've got all the facts and figures, percentages, and what to do and what not to do. And what's on, we're looking at fairs and also night markets, and how I approach a night market, which might suit some of you. And also later on, we're going to be chatting to Darryn Mathee, who is actually the general manager of Extreme Rugby Wear and event organiser of the Bangkok International Rugby 10s Open Invitation here in Bangkok on the 16th and 17th of this month. Right, what sort of week or weeks have you had since we last chatted?
Nothing too eventful, but probably the biggest event for me since I follow rugby.
The rugby thing. What was it? The rugby sixes?
Six Nations. Six Nations. Yeah. Okay. Rugby Six Nations.
You were
being
supporting
Scottish. Scotland beat Italy.
Yeah.
But the biggest surprise was England beating
What do you mean
Ireland.
a big surprise?
Well, they were the underdog for once.
Well,
yeah.
Okay. I have to say I don't really follow.
England
rugby,
did deserve to win, but what I always find a bit confusing within the pub is that sometimes they're showing football at the same time. So if you're talking to somebody, suddenly there's a big cheer. You don't know whether it's a rugby or whether it's a football.
Right. Where were you watching that?
At Scruffy's.
So you had something to eat and a few ales.
And then I went down to Clubhouse. So it was good. Thoroughly
That's
enjoyable.
why I couldn't get you on the phone the next morning, right?
Probably, yes. I think we got back about 3 o'clock. But I must admit, the one letdown once again is taxis. I couldn't get a taxi back, and they were just turning around and saying, no. It drove me absolutely mad.
Well, that's a topic for another day.
That's a topic for another day.
That's a good topic because I've got a load to say about that.
Yeah, I think everybody has.
Yeah. Well, right. What are we doing now? Oh yes, in the papers last week, and this happens a lot. People leave things in taxis. I mean, I always used to leave mobile phones back in the day when we weren't used to carrying mobile phones. So,
how could you forget it? When you started using a mobile phone, it was a brick.
Well, we managed to leave them behind. Trust me. And anyway, this woman, she left a condo and went by taxi to Bangkok Tower. When she got to Bangkok Tower, she discovered that her birthday present from her husband, that's right, a Rolex watch worth 170,000 baht, was missing. And so she rang her son in a panic, and her son actually rang a radio station, 91 FM. So when that was all going on, the taxi driver had gone to a petrol station and he heard it over the tannoy. They must have been playing over the system, over their loudspeaker system radio.
I didn't really have that.
Oh yeah, no, I've heard it. So that's what you questioning what I'm saying? You are, aren't you?
Would I ever?
I spent me a week putting this together. No, it was a tannoy. Actually, it could have been his car radio.
Right. Okay.
I just thought it would sound better. It was a tannoy, and he heard this, and he took the watch. He found it on the back seat. And took the watch to the station, and the station got in contact with the lady, and the lady got the watch, and she gave the taxi driver 5,000 baht.
I think that's great. You hear about this with some people leaving money behind.
Well, I mean,
obviously it's news, so it goes out. There's probably other times they don't get it back, but it gives you a little bit more confidence back into humanity.
Well, it does. I mean, these stories, I'm not saying they're every day, but over a year you do hear a guy leaves 4 million baht in a briefcase. Now, come on. It's got to be drug money. It means he doesn't care. Because 4 million... Look, you, Jet, our producer over there, I mean, if you had 4 million, I would chain it to my wrist. I don't think I would take... Well, would I take a taxi? I don't know. I think I'd probably drive myself. I don't know what. If you were
you drive yourself with something chained to... How you can drive with the briefcase chained to...
Like you don't have to do hand signals.
Yeah.
Okay, anyway, that was good. Yeah, it puts your faith back in human nature.
Yeah, I think that's a really nice story.
Right, now, comments. Viewers' comments from Tyler. Just watched episode 1 of Bangkok ChitChat, and Andy taking a hard stance against Christmas bonuses. Remember I said if the company doesn't make money, you shouldn't get them. I might have to write in with some of my opinions if you keep up these hot takes. Well, that's exactly what we want to do. If you want to comment, you can comment if you're watching YouTube, but you are, comments underneath, or you can go to our Facebook, and all the details are below. Please, we also mentioned wine prices in restaurants, and I happened to mention the Fat Cow. They liked the mention on the last show in reference to good priced wines at their restaurant.
Right, okay.
And I'm waiting for a very nice meal. What else we got here? Here we are. From Yum Plaid Duck Pho. What a name. That's a Thai dish, right? Yeah, that's a Thai dish. He wrote, "That was a very informative show. I really enjoyed the banter. However, I must say," and I thought this was all going downhill from now on. "However, I must say that you Bangkok seasoned gents made me and my 13-year residency here in Thailand, and I'm 54 years old now, feel like a newbie. Thank you and well done."
Well, I'm not sure if I'm taking that as a compliment or not. This thing doesn't really look that old.
Well, you wait to another one down here. All right, here we go. Anonymous. That's always anonymous, right? That's negative. "We should have called the show Sexpat ChitChat Bangkok. For a start, you would have got 100,000 subscribers immediately, which is true. And you guys look the part." I think that's positive.
I'm not sure.
Well, shall we? Shall we do a new channel as well? We could run another channel.
No, keep away from that part.
And then finally, I mentioned this on our Facebook page. I was talking about, I posted Taco Bell are coming here, or are here now. 40 branches within 5 years. 40 branches. And I'm not going to say anything about it. Apparently there's no beef on the menu at the moment, which they're apparently renowned for.
Really?
Yeah, there's a whole new story there. But anyway, John C. Murphy said that's too much Taco Bell. Well, that much Taco Bell, which is when you scrabble all the words together.
Yeah.
Well, that means
anagram,
plottable. And he sent us a picture as well, so that should be up on your screens. So thanks anyway to you guys for writing in. And anybody who wants to write in, we will read that out, and as long as it's readable, outable. And you've got all the details there. We do like to hear your feedback, anything, comments or whatever. Right, what have we got coming up? Coming up, we've got our new segment. It's called Bangkok ChitChat Clip Pix. Yay!
Bangkok ChitChat Clip Pix.
Welcome back to Bangkok ChitChat, and now we have our new segment, which is basically a couple of video clips that we thought was funny, and we hope you do as well. It's called Bangkok ChitChat Clip Pix, and our first one: if you get pulled over by the police in any country really for a breathalyzer, any type of road stop, you don't really expect this. Play it, Sam.
What's your name?
Johnny McMonigal. Is there a problem, officer?
Stop it.
We'll find out in a minute.
He's lost
Suck
already.
into this.
Suck. Do not blow.
You suck these new ones. Hurry up. Now, what did you say your name was again?
Johnny McMonigal. Hey, that's no funny. That was when I complained, I don't
Hey, see you later, Ormo.
Oh, they weren't real policemen, were they?
No. It's called Brunston or something like that.
Yeah. Have you ever done the helium thing, the parties and that?
No.
If you want to get a laugh, if someone doesn't laugh at it, then there's something wrong with it. They're either deaf or they're really in a bad mood, because anything you say sounds funny. Does it? I tell you what, we'll try and get hold of some helium one day, And when we get to 100 subscribers, I'll get a balloon of helium and we'll do
Yeah, well, you can
30
you can-
seconds
yeah,
of
yeah,
chit chat in helium, right? Now, we've got one more. When you're going to give a speech, I know what's coming. When you're going to give, and our producer's laughing already because he's seen it, and you won't stop giggling. When you're writing a speech, you go over it loads of times, like we do for the show. Well, I do, he doesn't. Over the show and get the words, try to get them right and everything else. And everything's perfect. And then you walk on stage, and this happens.
Genesis 1, verse 1. In the beginning, in the beginning, yeah, in the
Listen properly.
in the beginning, yeah, in the beginning,
Still dance?
in the beginning.
Well, what can you say? I mean, I felt sorry for the guy. Congratulations to him for carrying on, you know. I would have had that flop sweat already. You know, flop sweat. Like,
Yeah.
I've had it a few times on the show. You know, when things aren't going as well as you plan. And you start sweating. And he just kept looking at the other guy who was no good. The other guy was saying, never mind, we know what you mean. Get on with it.
Yeah.
Oh, in the beginning. Ding. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed those. That's the Bangkok ChitChat Clip Pix, and we hope to get more of those for you. You may have seen them before.
Send some through if you see something. Just send the clips through.
How do they do
maybe
that?
we'll use them. Yeah, just send us the link to the video. Obviously, we're trying to keep things clean. So if you send something through, that'd be perfect.
And if they were
And
in
if
Thailand,
they aren't clean, send them through as well because we'll probably have a laugh ourselves. Just won't put it on the air. Yeah.
Yes. And if they're in Thailand, so much the better, but they don't have to be. All right, we're going to take a short break, and then we're back with something more serious. There's no giggles, really. It's the word that's on everybody's lips at the moment here in Bangkok, and it's pollution. Welcome back to Bangkok ChitChat, and he had to go away for a second and quieten himself down. He was giggling like a little schoolgirl. In the beginning,
It's just a classic. It really is.
I don't think we'll
thoroughly
ever-
enjoyed it. I think everybody should have a little funny clip and watch it first thing in the morning to put you in a good mood for the rest of the day.
especially you.
Especially me. I'm not a great person in the morning. Yeah.
All right, now a bit more serious. As I say, the word that everyone's talking about, all the media are, is pollution. And when I first heard about it 3 or 4 weeks ago, I have to admit I was blasé about it because I knew Bangkok is fairly heavy pollution-wise and they have a haze and this. But over sort of the days and that, there was much more promotion about it, more awareness about it, and then I started to take it seriously. I found what I was reading. Some people say don't exercise first thing in the morning, which I do. It's better to do it later on. Others saying first thing in the morning is the best one. Other people saying don't exercise. Then other people saying exercise against inhaling smoke, better to exercise. So it's a lot of misunderstanding or not understanding.
Or too
the
much
situation.
information. Yeah.
Too much information,
Yeah.
and not all of it necessarily correct. Well, the man with the stats and all the information is my mate Andrew here. What have you got for
Well,
us?
just to comment on what you were saying about before, many years ago, basically Bangkok was very bad. And
was.
Bang Rak.
Back in the days of the tuk-tuks and all that.
Yes,
Oh.
it was awful. So I think we have to put this in perspective because generally Bangkok is okay now, yeah. But before it was always bad.
But
yeah?
no leaded petrol in those days.
That's
and
right.
all
And the
that.
big thing, like you said about tuk-tuks.
I mean, there are tuk-tuks now, but nothing like there were when I came here.
Yeah, I think.
I mean, they were everywhere.
The novelty's there, but I'm not sure.
Why make them
I think
electric?
stop. I think
No,
there's
you see
something
them.
they passed. Anyway,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
all right. So basically, this is the phenomenon because we just refer to things as having this dust, PM 2.5 dust, but it's all primarily to do with the weather. It's not necessarily just the pollution which is in Bangkok. So the definition, they said, this is due to a phenomenon known as temperature inversion. that suspends more such particles in the lower atmosphere than usual. Temperature inversion usually occurs in winter and is marked by a reversal of the normal behaviour of temperature in the stratosphere, in which a layer of cool air at the surface is overlain by a layer. So it's really it's weather.
Well, stop you there for a moment. Has this happened to Bangkok before, or it's happened and we didn't realise, or this is a new thing?
I've never come across this particular situation. Obviously, there's lots of pollution. But in a way, I sort of felt sorry for the government because they were trying to do lots of things. Yeah, I mean,
they did the old rain dance.
We just come up. They were trying to put drones up there, and I wasn't really clear on how that would help. But the point was, as was said, at least they're making some form of effort. And there's various other elements. What they did suggest was with regards to masks. But like everything else, you can wear a mask, but if you're not going to wear it properly, as they're saying, some people are putting it on halfway. Well, what's the point? Well, and then there was working out what different kind of masks there are.
I got my sister-in-law who researched it, and apparently this fake's out now as well. Stick Boy on Twitter. Did you know Stick Boy?
Yeah.
I couldn't be not bothered, but I didn't know how to get the pictures to show you of the fake ones. But here's a real one. I got this from Lazada. It was 188 baht for 5, including shipping. Took 3 days to get here, and the brand is 3M, and this is like a is that camera 9010. I don't know if that means anything. It's disposable, but then again, if you're only going to wear it for an hour, I think you can wear it again and again. I think 7 or 8 times probably per one. Before they arrived, actually 3 hours before they arrived, I didn't know they were, I went to Macro and I got this one, the one I started the show off, which is not disposable, but it has all that material inside.
It's like charcoal?
Yeah. Yes, charcoal, like this one has. All charcoal, and I guess you breathe in there. There's nothing to change, but I guess once it's, when you need a new one. This was 58 baht for one.
Right. Okay. But on the masks thing, I don't know about yourself, but if you use the Underground or the SkyTrain, there's lots and lots of people. You're seeing more and more people wearing masks. Not just because of this, but in the past you've been seeing, because in that closed area, people coughing, etc. I don't think it's a bad policy just to maybe have a mask when you're on that public transport.
Well, actually, someone pointed this out to me the other day. I said, well, I see a lot of people, 5 years ago, 6 years ago, not with the Asian flu thing, that bird flu, everyone went back to a lot of people wearing masks. But you often saw somebody with a mask, and I thought, oh, they hypochondriacs, like they're frightened of catching my germ. And the person said, you're wrong. They're ill, and they don't want to spread their germs to you. Right. And I suddenly thought, oh, that's nice. I always think the negative on that, and I shouldn't have. I should have thought, no, they don't want to give us the germs. So, if you have a cold, a flu, stay at home. That's what your employer would say.
Well, that's what I say to my staff. If you're going to be sick, don't come into the office because you'll spread it.
Yeah. But if you have to go out, then a mask is a good idea.
Yes. So, with everything that we look at the solutions, and the government has been quite active. Something when I was doing a little bit of research, I also noticed was on general Thailand's performance on gases and greenhouse gases. Yeah. Thailand's actually been performing well.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that's a bigger perspective, and they've signed into different agreements. But they've also said they're bringing in new policies, and they're looking at applying the European emission standards within Thailand. Yeah? And also reducing the amount of biodiesel being used, which is good news. Like everything else, we can talk about it. You've got to implement it. Other things they've been doing is you'll see a picture coming up, just a little video clip. What we saw was to do with water spraying. Yeah? So they've been putting spraying water at construction sites, which they have done in the past. Anyway. And also at the expressway tolls.
Let's just play the clip of. I saw this and took a video of it on the way to the studio the other day, and I hadn't noticed it before. It's on both sides of the road, and take a look. I mean, You can see that there's nozzles. I guess that, but is it like they did at the Michael Jackson concert? Spray very small parts of water. Well, I can't think of the word. It's like a spray of cold water. Yeah,
Excuse me.
And it cools you down.
Yes,
and
I
they
think
spraying
that's
it
what
over
is.
everybody.
Yeah,
Yeah, and it
put
goes
some
to
weight.
and with the heat, it vaporizes.
So there's the fact is there's activities being done, but like everything else, we seem to only take action when something affects us personally. Yeah. So now with these commitments through the European emission standards, etc., I think that's a way forward if it's actually implemented.
I would like to see. I think. Yesterday behind a truck, and it was just bellowing out black smoke. Now I know police can't be everywhere, and there have been more police stopping. I know I've seen checks twice the other day on my journey back from the studio. There were two police were pulling things in. So that's showing people that they care and maybe giving them the idea that they've got to watch out in the future. But there has to be control from a source, doesn't it? The owners of the truck, the company. Before you put a truck on the road and get a license, it should have and 10 years old these trucks are, so
well,
what
it's
goes
also
on
to do
there?
with buses. I mean, they say they impounded 137 lorries
From the
and
BMA.
24 public buses.
Yeah.
There's more than 24 public buses that spew out.
But it's a start, I guess.
Yes, good, but there has to be some policy that's ongoing. Now, how do you do that? You're right, the police don't have the resources to do this. But people have cameras in their cars.
Mm-hmm.
So if you see that, there should be a place to be able to take that clip, it'll capture the number plate, and they can send it to someone.
I think social media is the way until you can get a lot. You're right.
Yeah.
A glass of water.
It's all this pollution.
I've got a mask.
Oh, thanks very much. So maybe there's some source, but I know even speaking to some of my Thai friends, they turn around and say, well, if I send it, will anyone do anything with it? Why should I make that effort? Well, I think if the police see this and they can prosecute accordingly,
the government
that's fine,
especially.
So, but the police need that help. Well, it has to be the public involved.
Yeah.
So I looked at other things that we've been looking at regarding pollution. They've looked at zoning. Yeah. London has the policy: if you're going to be parking in the city, you pay more.
Well, not just parking, entering the city.
Right, entering the city.
You have to pay a toll to get in.
Now the issue with that is to do with the public transport. So if you park your car like at the Ladpra intersection with Vaisappisek, there's a parking place. You pay for that. Yeah? Obviously, someone has to pay for it.
But you can park and ride.
Park and ride, correct. Yeah. Now, as much as we're making all the investment in mass transit, it gets to a point where the cost of you travelling to work, etc., is going up. Now, I did a little bit more research, and through the Rabbit card, for 50 trips used within 30 days, it's 20 baht per trip, unlimited distance. It costs 1,000 baht.
What's the Rabbit card?
Basically, that's for the SkyTrain.
It's called a Rabbit card.
Rabbit card, yeah. So, but what happens if you have to change onto the MRT? You have another price. For an average person, for one way, maybe they're talking about 50 baht or 100 baht. Multiply that across your working days, that's a fair amount of money. And if you have to go through different sections because they're having new purple lines, all these, it gets to the point where people are still going to use their cars.
Yeah, see, in London you've got the tap and go thing. I only found that out last year. On your credit card you have a little like a Wi-Fi logo.
Right.
Your credit card. You just go on anything and you just tap it and you go and it takes it off your.
Right.
I don't know
But
what
it's
rate,
still-
but
still-
there obviously
still a
rates
cost.
are displayed. But it's
UK
worth,
because UK.
Yeah.
You look at this just now. They put up the cost of travel by 3%. But some people, you're talking about spending about 150, 200 quid a month just to get to work.
Yeah, but don't forget in London,
Or a week, sorry.
England, petrol's very
Whatever.
expensive. I'm sure the government make an incentive to make you park and ride. Makes it more worthwhile for you financially. But otherwise, it won't work.
Well, the point is it's run by private companies, so they're looking at the profit. They're not looking at the total package. So other things we were talking about, other solutions was if you look at the US, etc., or even the UK, or you have school buses. So a lot of parents will drop off their kids at school. So you get massive traffic jams. Saturn is a prime example of people dropping off their kids. What would happen if you had buses? Now, my daughter went to an international school. Luckily, they had a situation, they had a free bus which picked them up from the SkyTrain station and took her to school. Other people are paying for it, and they're paying up to maybe 10,000 baht for that school bus. So it's out of reach for the average person. And we're looking at the mass, we're not looking at the international school kids. So maybe they could school buses. Vehicles, basically, the enforcement. You see some cars which are out there, which basically doors are hanging off, and they're still driving along. Yeah? Impound them. Yeah? It should be related to insurance, especially with fleet operators. So there is an independent body, which they have the DLT already, where they're doing regular tests, but they're actually doing the tests. Yeah? Okay. So there's a variety of different things. And another thing, we talk about cars. What about boats? Have you ever been in these boats? Some of the boats are spewing out huge amounts of, and they're going past residential areas.
Well, they make a noise as well. Don't forget.
Well,
a hell of a lot of noise.
So there's a whole lot of areas that can be managed, but once again, it comes down to resources to be able to do it.
I like the idea of you saying, social media, government officials, high up government officials, they are aware of social media, and I think if you can take a clip of something, a truck taking, bellowing out smoke, I think that's a good way. Where would you send it?
Well, I don't know. This is for them.
Well, I guess just on Facebook, and it'll circulate.
They have different initiatives already where if you see something, or you can send a clip. I think they're also doing the taxis. Yeah. They were saying take a photograph of that taxi. Blah blah blah. If you can video, and they'll find the taxi driver if they refuse you to
go back to taxis again.
Yes. Yeah.
All right then. Is that it?
That's more or less it. But there's other things we can all do. Is plants. If you're lucky enough to have a garden, because all that helps with CO2 emissions. Now, there is one more thing, is to do with cars and trucks and diesel. I'll talk about taking diesel cars off the roads over the next few years. And like everything else, it comes down to maintenance. So there's certain products you can get, they're additives. And you just add it to your petrol.
Mercedes do that with their diesels. You have to put in something called blue.
Yeah, but you also have something which you can put into the engine, which basically maintains your engine as well. So it takes all that sticky stuff and it maintains it. Now, you can save up to 25% on CO2 emissions, and also between 10 and 12% on nitrates. Now, I'm referring to a particular product. It's by Fuel Treat, and it's called Surefire. Yeah. I've used it in my car. I have a Ford Everest diesel, and it was a bit sluggish with starting, etc. Immediately it cleaned it up, and I never had any smoke come out the back or anything like that. It was very, very clean. So people can actually still run their diesel, but take and it's not expensive. Take the what do you call it? Basically, do something to help the environment itself.
Contribute.
Using that. Contribute. That was the word I was looking for.
All right, then.
These are
so that's what we're asking you to do.
Solutions.
Contribute.
Yes.
Make a social awareness, and it can only get better.
Yes, I think it can. Yeah. I think this is more seasonal just now. Yeah.
Well, look, if you want to send some comments in about pollution, what you're doing or what should be done to help the situation, then please get in contact with us. We're back in a moment with What's On a lighter subject. What I like to do at these night markets. We'll be back in a moment.
Bangkok ChitChat. What's on?
And welcome back to Bangkok ChitChat. Well, that pollution thing, I learned a lot. Well done, mate. Yeah, all researched by him. Yeah, very. Right, what's on? Valentine's Day tomorrow. You doing anything now? We've been through this before, haven't we?
I must admit, Valentine's Day, it's a very important day to show your appreciation, but it's like a lot of people, it's a commercialisation part. I don't
move on. Right, now, there's a Thai Indian fun fair. I'll say that again. There's a Thai Indian fun fair. It's Indian Social Club of Thailand proudly presents the 5th Thai Indian Fun Fair, Saturday 16th February, from 3 in the afternoon to 10 in the evening on or at the Srinacarinawat University, Sukhumvit 23. Loads of activities, as you would expect. Thai, Indian, continental food, games for everyone, magic shows, a Miss Thai Indian funfair beauty pageant, etc., etc. Entrance is free. And I know we probably have a few Indian people watching, and I love Indian food.
So do I. Absolutely.
Right, moving on to food, night markets. I don't know if you go to night markets. A lot of Thais go to night markets.
Yeah.
Do you go to night markets?
Yes, I do. Yeah.
There's a night market. Remember in the car the other day? There's a night market.
Yeah,
And
and
they
then
weren't.
never were. You had the wrong glasses on.
The Knack Market. The Knack Market offers fresh local foods, handicraft products, concerts and activities in the grounds of the Funky Jam Factory. And this is nice. There's a cafe there, a homeware store, gallery, restaurant, bookshop and an office all on the side of the river.
Well, where is it?
Where is it, he says. I've got it here somewhere. Just bear with me. You're on the other page. Oh man, that's crap.
So we'll go to the Knack Market because it's knackered.
Well, it's the jam factory on the side of the river. Why didn't I put the address down there?
Where would it say where it is?
I tell you what, it's open.
Can someone help? Can someone help Andy? Maybe they can give
the last weekend of every month. I know that I should have. I've written down the hours on.
Okay.
All right, then. Can we cut that? Right, another one is the Rock Thai Market, which people know, on Srinacarin Road.
Right. Okay.
5 p.m. to midnight, Thursday and Sundays. Location is the Srinacarin Road, Soy 51, behind Seacon Square. BTS is on Nut. And one that I didn't know is called, do you know this one, Jet? Chang Chui Bangkok Plain Market. Did I say it right? Chang Chui. Open hours 1700 to 2300. That's 5 to 11 in proper English. 462 Sirintorn Road, western outskirts of Bangkok. And the most famous is JJ Green. That's open Thursday to Sunday, 5 till 2 in the morning. Now, they have loads about. Now, what I like about night markets is, especially if you've got a girlfriend or a wife. Now, listen up. If you have, call your mate who's got a girlfriend and a wife and go as a foursome, right, in an evening. Get to the market and you see the girls are itching for the shopping. They can see all the little things in there. But don't keep going.
That's
Straight to a table, and there's loads of bars and restaurants, and you can buy food from other restaurants and sit down in the restaurant you sat down in, or the bar, and so you can eat loads of selections of food. So what you do is have a drink. You all have a drink, and then the girls say, "Oh, I'd like to go off shopping." So yeah, off you go, darling. Don't worry. Well, we'll only be 20 minutes. Well, it won't be 20 minutes, so it doesn't matter. So there's you and your mate. You're watching the world go by, putting the world to rights. Have another beer, and then another beer. Then they come back, right? And they go, "Oh, we're a bit hungry." "Yes, so are we, darlings. Yes, now let's order some food." So a couple of beers, some more food, they have some food and all that. And then when they finish their dessert, and we've ordered another beer, they sort of say, "Well, there was something I liked on the da-da-da-da-da. We'll just go away for 10 minutes to see what it..." But they won't be away for 10 minutes, be another at least 45 minutes. Another couple of beers and everything. And you're sitting with your mate. It's brilliant. Watching the hustle bustle of the market. Plenty of people to watch, plenty of things to look at, and chatting with your friends. And then they come back and they're tired. So they say to you, "I want to go home now." So you've had a tank full of beer. You're ready to go home. So you walk out of the park, out of the market, hand in hand or arm in arm. Everybody enjoyed themselves. It's a win-win situation.
So this is what you do, yeah?
No. Yes, of course. Yeah, that's what I do. No, and especially when family come over as well.
Yeah,
So you want to make sure there's women involved because you've got to keep them happy. And
Right.
Shopping is, the thing. I've never met a lady that doesn't like shopping.
Right. Okay. So keep that in mind. There's another place behind Esplanade, yeah, which is very easy.
That's
to
a
get
Rock
to.
Thai market, isn't it?
Is it?
Yeah.
Well, that's Srinacarin.
Oh, that's Srinacarin. Yeah, there's a Rock Thai 1 or Rock Thai 2
Right.
behind us there. That's a
Yeah,
big
that's
one.
very popular. And
Yeah,
I was
very
there a couple of weeks ago, and it was absolutely chock-a-block.
Yeah,
So,
and you get local beer, craft beer, and some of them are slightly more
Yeah.
upmarket where you get oysters and things and that, and seafood, and it's great. And I love sitting outside to eat.
Right.
Yeah, and that's it. All right, then that's it for now for that. And of course, don't forget, coming up on what date is it? We've got the rugby system. So can you fill me in there?
so basically, rugby is
got
the
it.
rugby 10s, Bangkok
Yeah.
Rugby 10s.
Yeah, Bangkok International Rugby 10s. over there at Bangkok Pattana, right?
That's correct,
It's on the 16th and 17th, free entry, and in the evening they have the after parties and all that. We'll learn much more because in a moment we're going to be talking to Darryn Mathee, who is actually the general manager of Extreme Rugby Wear and the event organizer of the whole thing. Chat with him, that's coming next, so keep it here on Bangkok ChitChat. Welcome back to Bangkok Chit Chat. Right now we're going to discuss the Bangkok Rugby 10s, which is coming up very shortly. Also Northern versus Southern Hemisphere. Six Nations, how rugby has changed and is improving. And Rugby Union versus Rugby League. And we've got a gentleman here who knows all about it, Darryn Mathee. Did I pronounce that?
That is correct.
Okay, he's General Manager of Extreme Rugby Wear, who is also the organizer, the event organizer of the Bangkok Rugby 10s. Welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
Right, so
Well, maybe you could just explain a little bit about the Rugby 10s, and yeah, we'll start off with there.
Sure. So the Bangkok Rugby 10 has been going for 14 years now. We do it every year to raise funds for my rugby charity program that I have, which we'll get into more detail a bit later. But yeah, so we get teams from all over the world. This year we have 16 nationalities, 38 kids teams, 24 men's teams, 12 vets teams, and 8 women's teams coming down to play. It's 2 days of rugby from 10 in the morning till 6 at night, and then 2 after parties from 6 until very late, with big parties, live band, DJs, everything happening at Bangkok Pattana International School on the 16th and 17th of February.
and trust me, I've been there and I've done the whole thing, plus the after party.
Not
and I had
playing,
a great
though,
time. Not playing, not now.
We have an Ancients team playing, so you can join that.
No, I know the ancient team. So, what is your day job?
My day job, I run a sports clothing company. We have a factory here in Thailand, in Bangkok, and we make sports clothes for all over the world. Mostly rugby wear. We do professional rugby wear. We currently sponsor the Mexican Rugby Union, so we make all the kit for the Mexican Rugby Union. It's a small union, but it's baby steps. And yeah, so we make sports clothes, basketball, soccer, volleyball, any sport you can name we can make, and we do casual wear. So my day-to-day is dealing with customers from all over the world and just satisfying customers for their sportswear. We do direct to customers. It's all made to order. We don't have a shop. So you just email me your designs. I have a designer inside. He designs everything. What I'm wearing right now, I made yesterday.
That's cool.
So yeah, we can make any type of sports clothes that you're looking for.
How long have you been operating in Thailand? You're originally from South Africa.
Originally from South Africa, Cape Town. I moved here 6 years ago. I started working in Phuket, and then I've been in Bangkok now for 4 years.
Right, okay. And you're not intending to go anywhere? You're
Nowhere.
quite happy
I'm
here?
happily quite settled here in Bangkok, Thailand.
Okay, so regarding the actual event, it's been running for 14 years. Why did it start in the first place? And obviously you were not part of that when
Yeah.
it started, 14 years ago.
I know like the whole history of it. It started, Eddie Evans, he started. It used to be in conjunction with the Cape Town 10s. Him and Bobby Skinstad started the Cape Town 10s, which is still going, and which is a massive event in South Africa. They started it basically just to promote rugby in Bangkok, and 14 years ago it started with 8 teams. Now we're up to almost 60.
Which
So,
countries?
wow.
Which countries are those teams from?
We got a lot of Asian countries. So we got Singapore, Hong Kong, Philippines, Malaysia, Sri Lanka, New Zealand, Australia, South Africa, France, Bangkok. Yeah, a whole lot. So it's quite.
Is this clubs within these countries, or there's just a bunch of people get together to actually play this?
50-50. We have people that just come for the social. It's like to get away, to come to Thailand. It's an excuse to come to Thailand.
All right, okay.
Something to tell the wife.
Yeah, tell the wife I'm coming to Thailand to play rugby, and they probably don't even turn up to play rugby. But yeah, so we got professional club teams come down. We got social teams that come down. So it's a bit of a mix. So it's a social tournament. We don't classify it as a elite tournament for elite teams. We look for social teams that are going to be sponsoring the charity, that are going to be supporting the charity, supporting the parties, having a good time in Bangkok, and we try to look after them as much as we can.
Tell us a little bit about the charity.
Yeah, that was going to be my question. Yeah.
So I have a rugby charity program. I have about 50 kids that we look after, and that's the reason why we have this big event, to raise money for them. So they're all slum kids that have been involved in, their families were involved in the tsunami a couple of years ago. It's kids that parents can't look after them, so they've all been put in a boys' home. The boys' home is based in Saton. So I look after them every weekend. We take them, train rugby, teach them life skills, English, take them on days out, swimming, tempen bowling, surfing, whatever we can do for the kids just to
get them out of the home.
And give them a better life. And so we look after their schooling. Their school's literally across the road from where they live, which is nice. So yeah, it's a good feeling to do it, and I do it out of the passion of the sport and my passion to help kids.
Why did you select this particular
This
charity? You select a charity because a lot of people give money and then it's spread amongst multiple charities, which is also nice. But when you focus on something, you feel you can make a difference. But why did you select this one?
So the Naksu Rugby Academy, which it is, used to be run by another organisation probably about 5 years ago. And this organisation closed down, or they were closing down, and they were going to end this program with this rugby program. It was really small. Myself and Eddie decided we're going to keep the rugby program going. So I want to keep the kids. I'll continue to support them, do events. I do 3 events a year to raise money for them. We just kept it going, and it's my passion to teach them sport. And rugby's not big in Thailand, so I'm trying to promote it as trying to get it big with the rugby community in Thailand.
So within the Rugby Tens, obviously you've grown it, and it's growing. And how much more can it grow? Is there a certain point where you get Rugby Sevens in Hong Kong, which everybody goes to? It's more of a corporate affair than anything else. But then you have other events as well. Would you actually have something where the winners of your event would be playing the winner of another event and set up a league of rugby tens? And
that would be interesting to do. It's just very hard to get teams to travel, because teams that come in travel from quite far. So like to organise something like that. I was planning to organise a tournament in Japan for the World Cup this year, in between the break, and it just got too difficult to arrange teams, and because I was asked to do a tournament in Japan.
Right.
During the World Cup for teams that are travelling, but teams are going there for the fun, not to play.
Right, okay.
Quick question, it's not on this list. Rugby in Thailand, what's the associate organisation? What is it?
I've been part of the rugby union in Thailand for 4 years. I've played international. I have 2 international caps for Thailand. It's growing, but it's still not as big as the football, and there's not as much money into it.
But there is a governing body.
There is a governing body. There is a theory. They have a new president now. He's really good at what he's doing.
Okay.
They've just hired New Zealand Sevens professional player Lotte to coach the Sevens team, which I think will help a lot with the foreigners aspect into Thailand rugby. It's what they need. So it's building slowly. They have the trials this weekend coming for the Sevens. So it should be fun.
And you've actually played for the national side?
I played national team for the 15s. Last year I went to Uzbekistan and I played against UAE and Guam.
So did I understand it right? When you're in a country, if you've lived in that country for 5 years, you can, and that's worldwide, you can play for that country?
Yeah.
Okay.
Wow. I didn't know that. Yeah. All right, talking about rugby in general, we've got 6 nations, and 6 nations is basically the Northern Hemisphere competition of the year, let's say, and of course the World Cup's coming up this year. What's your opinion about the difference in rugby between the Northern Hemisphere and the Southern Hemisphere? Because there's a competition. When I watch rugby, basically if it's the Southern Hemisphere, I always want the North. Well, with most teams, but I always want the Northern Hemisphere. I wasn't actually talking about England, to be honest.
That's the person who went into my
mind.
mind.
Scott, there's a story behind that, because I remember when England was playing Australia in the World Cup, and I was in a Scottish pub, and a lot of the Scots were really quite upset. You probably will be when I say this, and I was actually supporting England, and all the Scots were supporting Australia. So it isn't always the true situation, and that's on camera, me saying that. So for
I
all
guess
the
the
Scots,
question
you might hate me now, but anyway. So the Northern Hemisphere against Southern Hemisphere, what's the difference between the
I don't watch much of the Northern Hemisphere rugby, to be honest, because I'm South African. I support South Africa 100% when it comes to rugby. Watching the Northern Hemisphere is like watching a cricket test match sometimes.
Now you know why the rivalry is there.
But there is a big difference with the type of rugby, the type of coaching skills, the way. It's just when you watch South Africa against New Zealand, it's more of like a battle. They're going at each other. It's like rough.
Tactics are
Yeah,
different.
that's the thing. The tactics are different. It's the way you play. Northern Hemisphere, it's classy rugby. It's good. It's also a different type of tactics, I think. And when they face, like England face South Africa, I think it's just a mix of both. Sometimes it'll be a good game, or sometimes it can be a really boring game. It's undecided. But when you know South Africa's playing New Zealand, it can be an exciting game, even if South Africa gets thumped by 50 points. But it's still going to be an exciting game.
Right.
I don't watch the Six Nations religiously. I watch the highlights. But it's still good rugby. It's good to watch.
So within the cultures, I mean, some people turn around and say because the weather is so awful in the Northern Hemisphere, that's why there's maybe the rugby is not to the same standard as maybe New Zealand. But on the other hand, you look at New Zealand. We were discussing this earlier about the rules of being able to play for New Zealand. You said somebody had to play 30 caps for New Zealand before they can play overseas, and then they can come back.
Yeah.
Well, if they haven't played the 30 caps, then they cannot go overseas and pay for
New Zealand keep their players, and that's why they're so good, because they keep their players in New Zealand. And if you want to go play overseas and make extra money, and you want to come back and play international, you have to have played 30 caps for New Zealand.
And is that only New Zealand? Is Australia
Only New
do that,
Zealand,
or South Africa?
I don't know about the other countries, but I just read about New Zealand. But I think it's like the South Africans leave to go play overseas because you get paid 5 times more than you do playing international. Guys would rather play for a club in the UK than play for South Africa because you get paid 5 times more, probably.
A good question here is, I mean, New Zealand is seen as sort of the default leaders in rugby. So how good is New Zealand in rugby?
That's the thing. Sometimes when you watch New Zealand play, it's boring because you know they're going to win.
Not if you're a supporter.
That's the thing, because they're just gonna they're really good. Like watching the Super Rugby last year was New Zealand teams throughout the whole time. They just won everything. Anything you watched, you know New Zealand team's gonna dominate. So sometimes it just gets boring. New Zealand's winning, but it's because they've put their grassroots into rugby. Like the Sevens this last weekend, the women won and the men won.
Right.
And New Zealand rugby women are the top women team that don't get beaten because they play rugby from when they're 5 years old. And it's just
so it's coaching then as opposed to DNA.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The thing is, they start young at school.
Yeah, because I mean, if you look at the UK is very much football orientated and not rugby. Rugby league, I'm not sure if it still is, but was always more popular than rugby union in England, and it is in Australia as well. Yeah, Australia rugby league is high.
Well, league was professional a long time, wasn't it? Before union. Union's professional now, of course. Yeah, but league back in the day. Union wasn't professional, right? And league was. So I guess they had the stadiums and they had all the infrastructure that goes with a professional team playing every week.
Right. And that's New Zealand's national sport. It's what they're brought up to do. If dad says you play rugby, you play rugby.
Yeah. Okay, so how do you see rugby? How do you think it's actually changed over the past 30 years? Because I remember going to Murrayfield with the school. The pitch was just mud, more or less. There was a big heavy ball, and people, you didn't have this sort of lycra look. It was just these heavy
cotton jerseys.
And it just seems to have all changed. Is it because that time it really was amateur? It was people were lawyers, or they were farmers, or they
butchers.
They were playing
whatever.
because So
I became butchers when you were.
I wouldn't say a long time from my day, but I know a lot of history about rugby, and I think back in the day people played rugby as a hobby.
Yes.
Even if it was professional. They wanted to play because they wanted to play. Now people are playing for money. If you're not getting paid enough, they're not going to play.
Right.
So someone can play a rubbish game. Who cares? He still gets his paycheck. He doesn't care.
Yeah.
So
But
back in the day,
so
it
much
was
higher
just,
now, though.
let's just go smash heads and have a good time.
Well, I mean, in England, I suppose it's the same the world over. The union clubs, they can transfer players just like in football, right?
Yeah.
You go for a fee and
That's the thing. You have a manager
contracts.
that looks after you. It's like being an actor. You have a manager that looks after you. Oh, you got a contract offer for this much. Let's go.
Now that's how much it's changed.
So what about can someone actually they can obviously make a living at that point of time, but from being a professional rugby player?
I would say you can make a living.
Union rugby player.
Yeah, union. If you play for a club, I would say Japan is massive now. People are going to Japan, just play rugby, and you get paid loads. You can make a living. Same in the UK, but clubs in South Africa, clubs in New Zealand, Southern Hemisphere, There's no chance.
And that's how England was when I started, because my coach was Peter Colston, who ended up being coach for England for a while. But he was playing for Bristol at the time, but he was also teaching in my school. He couldn't just play for Bristol.
It was like I was in Vancouver a couple of weeks ago, and I went to the BC British Columbia Hall of Fame dinner with where they were inducting professional rugby players from Canada. And there was a referee there. He was the first referee in Canada. He's probably about 84 years old, and he gave us all the history from when he was 18 till he was 84 refereeing. So like he was just saying how rugby's changed, how people, it's all about your face now, and it's all about how many followers you have on Instagram. It's just like got a fame thing now. It's all how famous you are. It's not, you're not just doing it for fun.
So basically, the rugby player's going to make money out of endorsements.
Yeah.
Just like at Ronaldo and people like that. Yeah.
Just like that.
That's how they're going to make their.
You have rugby players insuring their legs.
Right.
So if they if they can't play again, they get a payout. Like you get
Makes
Cristiano
sense.
Ronaldo
Makes
that's
sense.
insured his legs for like 500 million or something.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it has to be like that, because if he does get injured, he hasn't got an income.
Or he gets somebody to break his legs and then he gets his money.
But
I think
if
he
you look
wants
at
to play rugby.
if you look at South African rugby, all the professionals, ex-professionals that have played and they've got to their 40s now, they all start a business.
Yeah.
And you get people that play professional from when they're 18. You get started from school, and then you go play rugby. Rugby you can only play till a certain age.
Yeah.
You get to 34, you've played professional overseas. You finish playing rugby, you got nothing.
Unless you get to coach.
You have no schooling. You have no
Can't do
experience.
it.
You've never worked a day in your life. You finish at 34, you have nothing. You got to start from fresh. So like people need to make a decision. Like if you're going to make money from it, you need to make money from it. Or I know a lot of people from South Africa that have just played up to 34, and now they're just like, what do I do now? Like they don't have enough money to survive the rest of their life. They have to start a business, and that's starting late for most people.
Yes.
So it's tough in South Africa to do. And like I played for a professional club in South Africa, and I made the decision of coming to Thailand and starting my career instead of carrying on with rugby, because I could have been that guy, played till 34 and not had anything.
Right.
So it's quite tough, especially in South Africa, and I would say most of the Southern Hemisphere teams.
Right. Okay.
All right, we've got to move on because time's ticking away here, to be honest. It's very interesting. Most improved country?
Argentina.
Why?
Let's say 4 years ago they weren't playing many games, and now they've just been brought in to play the top teams in the world, top 3 teams, and I think it has made a big
difference. Yeah.
Boosted their moral, like they're not playing measly Chile or small little teams in South America. They're playing Australia, South Africa, New Zealand. So like any team is going to up their game to play against the top team. So if you know you're the underdogs, you're going to go in with full heart. You've got nothing to lose. If you lose, you lose.
See, I'm used to that being Scottish. We're always the underdog. I mean, at one point we were actually celebrating if we weren't beaten by too much.
I've actually played with 2 of your Scottish players.
Your mark was a bit low then.
It was, yeah. But now they have drastically improved.
Yeah.
I think it's through the foreign coaches who were coming in. Now we've got a Scottish coach who used to coach for the Glasgow team, and the Glasgow team has done very, very well in Northern Hemisphere rugby.
Do you think rules now in the game have gone overboard?
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah.
Just like back in the day, even I would say back in my day, which is not very long, but you could play rugby and just do what you want. Now you're playing with like a little bird on your shoulder that if you do something wrong, someone's going to catch you. It's like playing rugby with a policeman.
What you're saying is you could cheat and nobody would catch you.
That's the thing. You can punch someone. You can get rough and tough.
Well, that's the same as football, isn't it, with VAR? Right?
And now that you just if you tackle someone and your finger slips into his eye, you get a fine afterwards. It's like, come on now.
How many
Someone
times?
fights you
Hang
2
on,
weeks
hang on,
afterwards.
Darren. How many times does your finger accidentally slip into someone's eye?
I've never done it, to be honest, but I'm just saying. So.
But do you not think that sort of society is becoming a bit of is too cotton wool for the sport?
Yeah, the thing is, rugby's a tough sport. Like, let the guys bash into each other. You know, like even now, if someone's on their knees and you tackle on the shoulders, it's a penalty or a yellow card. It's just got so technical, and it's just all the TMOs. Like some games, the referee just uses the sideline referee instead of reffing the game. There's 4 referees. Normally it was just one guy in the middle, and he didn't even move. He just stood there with a whistle. Now it's just you have this guy answering, you have this guy, and it ruins the game sometimes.
You have
like,
Hawkeye, right?
Yeah, you got the camera at the top, you got corner cameras, you got people behind the posts, you got everywhere that are helping the guy in the middle he's the referee, he's the bus driver, he must control his bus.
So when scoring a try, when the guy goes down, you have to place the ball down.
Yeah.
Sometimes that's a little bit debatable. Did you put it
That's
down?
the thing.
Or not?
It can go
Camera's
both ways.
right on there, right?
It can go, but like back in the old days, like the referee's either going to give it or he's not. No one's going to complain. Now it's just like a whole debate. Everyone's shouting and screaming at the TV, and no one can hear you.
But that probably would give some of the entertainment.
That is the entertainment.
The apprehension of what's going to happen.
It's like Hawkeye in tennis, isn't it? Everyone waits for that decision, and you hear the crowd go. Well, to me, for the audience, and they're the ones that pay to go and see it, I think that's good entertainment.
It's just
so I'm all for it.
Stop causing like controversy on the TV or in games, and I guess it is hard like having the TMO, but it's the way it is now.
Well, on a professional level, how does rugby compare with other sports? I was going to say cricket, but I would say it's fairly similar to cricket in the sense of wages. And sponsorship.
Certainly not excitement. Anyway, right.
Well, no,
I used to play cricket
I love
myself,
test
but
cricket.
definitely not.
So, it's similar to cricket, but I mean football. Compare it with football.
Yeah,
nowhere near.
There's nowhere near. There's no comparison to it. I don't even know why. Like football it's worldwide. That's why sponsors are going to pay $1 million to put their logo on a jersey, and that's how they pay the football players. Yeah. And you get football players that are paid crazy amounts to run around for 80 minutes, 90 minutes.
90, not 80.
Some of them don't even play 90 minutes, but they get paid the big bucks. And they don't do anything. Yeah. They just run up and down the field and pretend they get hurt.
Spoken like a true rugby lover.
They get paid to pretend to get hurt. Rugby players get paid to get hurt.
Yeah, I must admit, I think everyone that watches rugby and football, when you see this holding onto the ankle when they were just touched, you sort of go, this is just a bit.
Well, the diving.
Like, I'm not a big soccer football fan. Like I watch big games, I watch the World Cup, whatever. But I can't watch something for 90 minutes and it ends in a draw. 0-0.
Well, you do sound a bit like.
That's like watching a cricket test match for 5 days and a draw.
I'm going to get killed for this, but it's a bit like American sports. Like if it's like they don't have things 1-0, it's got to be like basketball. Like 140 against.
But then you look at the Super Bowl last night and it was only 13-3, the lowest Super Bowl game in the world.
Yeah.
So for your event, just to sort of wind up, do you have any? Is there any regular winner? Do you think it's going to be a real competition between a couple of teams?
We always have. So Singapore Barbarians. They've won the last 2 years in a row. They have all ex-international players from all over the world.
Wow.
It's a team that they travel over to a lot of tournaments. But this year we got probably 6 good teams. We have the Jam
They're all
Boys.
good teams, but some better than others.
Yeah.
Okay.
So like the tough teams to beat are. So Jam Boys is a mix of teams that guys that come from South Africa, Australia, New Zealand. They're also a social team that's organised here. They come to Bangkok to play. We have my team, the Bangkok Bangers. Just put it out there.
Yeah.
Then we have the Naksu. So my charity, I organise a men's team. All guys that have been supported the kids throughout the years. They're all guys from Australia, New Zealand, South Africa. Also, we get them in and they help with the kids for the weekend. And they're a really strong side, all professional players that play clubs back at home. We have the Raptors from New Zealand. That's a new team. They should be pretty good because they're from New Zealand. They're a sevens team, so it'll be exciting to watch. Mm-hmm. And then we got a team from Rogue Lions, and we have the Saigon Geckos also. That should be pretty strong.
Okay, it's a really nice setup there because, as I say, I have been there before, and it's coming up on Saturday the 16th and Sunday the 17th of February at Bangkok Pattana School.
Entrance fee?
That's on 105.
No entrance fee,
No,
free
totally
entrance.
free, yeah?
Totally free entrance to come. So the rugby will start, the kids start at about 8 in the morning, they finish at 11, then the main tournament starts. So it'll be live streamed on Facebook and on YouTube. Also from 6 o'clock in the evening, live band, DJ, big party,
big
drinks
party.
for sale. So it's good fun.
Yeah.
Good weekend, and all the school teachers are on holidays.
Parking is available if you want to drive, and it's, from my experience, I don't know if you've got a bus going up from the
We have a shuttle bus from the BTS, so there's free shuttle buses from the BTS Bang
So it's similar to the Planted Fair thing when they have the Planted Fair there.
Yep.
So,
Right, great. Well, I'm going to be there.
Yeah. Darren, thanks very much. It's been
Thank
a great
you.
interview and
Thanks for
enjoyed
having
it. And good luck.
Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah, there you go.
Thank you.
Gentle.
Okay.
All right, that's it for Bangkok ChitChat for this time. Just keep it here. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe. All the details have been going on the screen at the bottom. And we'll see you, as I say, next time. Bye-bye.